Hey guys, it's Biggs. Welcome back. Now today, first off, you guys are enjoying what I'm putting up here, and I'm putting up lots of weird stuff all the time. If you're still enjoying what I'm putting up, hit that subscription button, and please ring that bell, and even more importantly, leave me a note, leave me a comment, tell me what you think of some of this stuff. I have no idea what I'm doing here, and you guys clearly know that, but let's have some fun, so let me know what you think. But today, we're going to talk about orchids. But more importantly, we're going to talk about one specific type of orchid. Easiest orchid to grow, probably the easiest orchid, most commonly easy orchid to access, the moth orchid, the Phalaenopsis orchid. Let's talk about that. Now, moth orchids, as they're known commonly, are also the genus Phalaenopsis. Phalaenopsis is coming from the Greek word phalaenia, and that means some kind of moth. And then the suffix at the end, opsis, basically means having the appearance of or kind of looks like. So Phalaenopsis basically translates literally to moth. Now these orchids come from all sorts of tropical regions all over Indonesia, Malaysia, China, Indochina. There's even one species that lives on mainland Australia. Not the very thing you'd think about, but it's pretty cool. All the different ones you see behind me are all sorts of different types of Mary clones. Mary clones are basically where they've hybridized it to the point and then they fix that strain so it always produces the same type. Now this type of an orchid is a true epiphyte. Now, epiphytes are orchids or plants that basically live on other trees. So you would find these in their homeland, living on the crotch of a tree or on a branch and stuff. And that's what an epiphyte means. But there's also some of them that are not epiphytes, they are lithophytes. And that means they live on a rock surface. So different types of cliffs in China, Indochina, Malaysia and stuff like that. Some of the cliffs over water, you'll find these plants living as well. They are characterized by being monopodial. Monopodial means it has a single stem of growth, and they have large overlapping leaves. They base out, they overlap at each one. Very large coarse roots, which I'll show you a picture of, but they have very, very large coarse roots. And the bright green tips means a sign of a very, very healthy orchid. You notice the potting media isn't like you'd normally think for a normal plant, because orchids, as I mentioned, are either lithophytes or epiphytes. They wouldn't have potting soil. They would basically, they would accumulate leaf litter and detritus and stuff like that in the crotch of the branch, and that would thereby become the media of which the plant is adhered with, and that would provide the nutrients and catch other things for it as well, provide its moisture base and so forth. So when you're keeping these type of plants, you often have to keep them. What they're using, these ones here are used in New Zealand sphagnum, long fiber sphagnum moss. They're often used in fir barks and different types of orchid potting mixes that you can buy at almost any greenhouse and stuff like that to keep these plants healthy and happy. Now these moth orchids are probably the absolute easiest orchid to grow out of any orchid. If you've ever grown an African violet on your windowsill, you can grow one of these. Because of the waxy leaves that they have a large amount of creatine proteins inside that really helps to protect the plant and the leaf structure and the cell structure from desiccation or drying out. So by doing so, they can live in good environments and stuff that take a lot more less humidity. But in their homeland, they actually live in very warm climates, a little bit warmer than most of our houses would be. So if you keep your house at about 70, these guys will do fine, but they'd prefer it if you had it a little bit warmer and a little bit more humid. Not really realistic in most North American homes unless you live down in southern Florida. If you live in southern Florida, you can grow these out on your patio. Knock them on your trees, whatever you want to do. But if you live up where I live, this is indoor gardening only. And if you want to increase that humidity, the thing you can do is you put a little tray of pebbles full of water and then put the plant on top of that. Culture of a Phalaenopsis orchid is easy. Ideally, an east window would be perfect, or using fluorescent tubes or LED lights, and they're meant for plants. They require good air movement to thrive. Water thoroughly the media, preferably in the morning so the plant has a chance to dry out, but be cautious not to get water into the crown of the plant. Humidity should be ideally kept around 50 to 70%. Fertilize weekly, but only when the plant is in active growth. When grown indoors with lower humidity, sometimes pests can occasionally appear. Treat them only as required and only when needed. By following these simple, easy steps, you should be rewarded with years of happy plants and lots of fresh blooms. All my footage today was filmed with permission from my good friends over at Wilson's Lifestyle Center in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. It's an absolutely breathtaking place to fulfill every one of your gardening dreams.